scrapbookers and creative friends. I'm Linda Petuch, Creative Memories Independent Advisor in Jupiter, Florida. Welcome to Thursday Thoughts. And today I'm going to do little shenanigans with gnomes. I call it Gnomic Adventures. Gnomic, which means mysterious and wise and small. Has nothing to do with gnomes, but I just went for it. Just humor me. So today I am going to share some borders, and I have a couple of pages that I made before that I'm going to just show you using Creative Memories punches. I didn't use the Border Maker cartridges at all this time. I just used the standalone punches, border punches, and I'll show you what I did with that. If you are new to Thursday Thoughts, thank you for joining me. If you are a follower, thank you so much. I appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed, you want to do that? Click that link to subscribing and the bell so that you can be notified. So let's take a look at what inspired me besides this time of the year. March is St. Patty's Day. We're looking at gardening, and I'm getting back in the garden and cleaning things up and working on a garden like a lot of people are. And also it's Lithuanian Independence Day, March 11th. So we have a lot of things to celebrate, a lot of green going on. So I hope you enjoy what I've come up with. Let's take a look. So to start with, these are the different border punches and standalone punches that I use. Of course, we're talking about gnomes. I wanted to use this little gnome punch that we had. And now these gnomes could be male or female. We don't know. I guess they could be bearded ladies. I don't know. In any case, the gnomes are fun. So so I started with the gnome punch as an idea. And then, you know, if you followed me, I can't leave well enough alone ever. So I decided I wanted to use some of these different shape punches, the gourds, pumpkins and gourds. This was the ice cream cone, the teardrop or flames or water drops. This one, because I like that inside punch that punches out, I'll show you. And then, I don't remember. Oh, this was that piece by piece trio. And I like these because I'm thinking gnome noses, maybe little feet, and yeah, whatever. I just pulled all these out. And then where do I want these gnomes to have their shenanigans? Out in the grass, in the yard, in the mushroom patch, maybe in your yard or in the forest. This is the wildflower chain punch, the tulips, and then this beautiful new potted plant, they call it flower pots, that was just issued with our new spring collection. So I played with all of these, and then in honor of St. Patrick's Day, I decided I wanted to make some little shamrocks. And this is an old CM, you see it's the old logo, old CM punch. But I just punched 3 of them. I used the scraps to make the stem. And you see I mounted them on a circle. So it's really fun to do. This would be fun to do for yourself, for friends, or for even little kids. They can do that because you can punch them out. So any heart shape would work. If you wanted to make larger ones, you could use a custom cutting system to cut the hearts to make a huge shamrock. But in any case, this is where I started. And then I let my imagination go wild. I did have, these are the punch outs from this particular leaf. Which one is this leaf? Called Spring Leaf. But I love these. I thought these would make great garden gnome beards. So that's what whiskers. So that's what I use that for. I do still have the Welcome Spring. We had it for the 4 seasons. So I pulled out my spring ones because I used some of the little faces and beards, and I didn't use any of the hats or the clothing. But I did want to delineate their faces on some. I also cut the potted plants in multiple colors, and you'll see how I use that. This is the time you're going to want these trays or some kind of a tray to hold the pieces, because this is that teardrop and flame. These are the pumpkins. This is these little hearts and circles and crescents. So you want to have something like this. And when I punch out the gnomes, I do keep the confetti from that because I did end up using some of these little stars and circles, and I replaced a few of the beards. Now, will I store this? I'm not sure, because it's pretty tedious, a little fidgety, but you know, it's up to you. And then these were my extra gnomes, because some I kept in a border, but some I cut apart so that I could put them in the garden and in different places. So truly, you just want to let your imagination be your guide and get some shenanigans going. Let's take a look at what I came up with. So I started with a simple design, and I just punched the little gnome border punch in like a pale blue, and then I cut a piece of a darker blue with the 12-inch trimmer using, this looks like the Rick Rack blade. Or like, yeah, Rick Rack blade. Anyway, very simple on a kind of a wood grain paper. That's just a single border. Very simple, but it would add a nice little gnomic touch. Then I got a little more ambitious, and here I did go ahead and I used the mushroom punch, put these gnomes in the front of the mushrooms. I decided I wanted to add some color, so I just used the dot pen and added color to the mushrooms that are behind the gnomes. This, I believe, is totally tonal. One of those stickers brought in that kind of reddish tone from the mushrooms and the tone from their little noses, just to tie it all together. And this is on, last year's National Scrapbook Day base paper that had all the mushrooms and gnomes and wood grains and that kind of thing. So that's what I use that for. But that'll make a really cute double page spread. Obviously horizontal, unless we want the gnomes on their head, but not today. All right. Now I cut this one with the, what do we call that thing? This, I use this cutter. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, this cutter. And, you know, this one is called Swell, and this one is called Scallop. That has more of the little edges on it. So I use the Swell on this one. These were ladybugs from a couple of years ago, National Scrapbook Day. But so here's the little wildflower chain I put at the base, and then I took one punch of the gnomes, cut it so that there would be 6 on each side. I think there was a 7th one left over, which I used as an individual somewhere else. I must have flowers in my happy place. Little signs that I put on there, again, from National Scrapbook Day last year or the year before. It might have even been from Secret Garden, I'm not sure, but anyway, I'm using up some of my springy things. But that was very cute. There are those gnomes in the garden. Oh yes, and what I did here, so that it didn't just look like it was placed on top, I took my little precision point scissors and I cut these little flowers where they were attached. I cut them apart so that I could put the gnomes under, some of their little hats under those flowers, and also, or the leaves, just so that it looks more like you meant to do that, and it actually grounds them a little bit. So it's kind of a fun technique if you're layering to just bring some of that forward, and that really does help. Okay, let's look at the next one. So this is with that new flower pot punch. Now, yes, this was a little time consuming because I had to punch it. I first punched it out in this check paper, which was from last year's National Scrapbook Day. And then I punched it again in a dark orange. This, I believe, is tangerine. And then I used a dark green cardstock and a Kelly green cardstock because I wanted to mix it, not make it look too matchy-matchy, and not make it too uniform. So I have the gnomes here tending their potted plants. Not really mischief, but it's good work. Garden gnomes are helpful gnomes. So I put them here. So I cut the original one, and then I cut these apart, and I decided I wouldn't make them all the same. I would make some shorter. So I made a couple of shorter pots, and then the others like the same sizes were there. Cut the greenery off the top, and then mixed and matched that as well, with the gnomes overseeing the whole thing. Little double page. Again, these are pretty horizontal. You really can't. These are not flexible to change direction. Okay, next one. So here I use the scallop. I use the scallop cut just to give it a little more waviness, and then I use swell for the blue piece that I put. So this has 4 layers, actually. No, yeah, 4 layers, because I have the tangerine, then I have the navy, then I have that orange checkered, and then I have the mushroom sticker strip, which was from National Scrapbook Day. And here you see I cut the gnomes apart. This took way longer than I thought it was going to. I need to glue that little star. So see, that's the confetti. I added the confetti back to these. I added beards on them, and then added the confetti back on there. A little bit time consuming, but it was fun. You know, it kept me busy and off the streets, and it's kind of therapeutic when you do detailed work like that. I don't have time to do it all the time, but when you do, it makes a nice picture. And then these are just stickers that go with this same collection from National Scrapbook Day last year, and got these little gnomes busy in tending to their mushrooms. Then I decided I wanted to try to create a couple of gnomes. So here's what I did. This was the ice cream cone. That's the cone. That's the little ice cream, swirly ice cream from the top. And I just put them on that pumpkin. They're based on one of the, I punched out blue pumpkins, and I had them on top of that. Yep, not that one. You know, I punched these in different colors, okay? So the base would be this pumpkin in blue, and then I added the ice cream cone and the top, which to me looks like a little gnome's pointed hat. And then from the trio shape punch, I used that little circle, or this one might have been too big. I have a whole bin of circles that I confetti that I punch and save. So then I found a proper size gnome nose for there. I made, this has 4 of my little shamrocks I made from the hearts. Put some stickers on there. This is from, I think it was 2020, that had the beautiful shamrocks and clovers. I still have some of that. I guess I'm kind of hoarding that paper because I want to go to Ireland. So I'm hoping to keep some of that for then. But I did use a little bit. I might put these aside for when we go to Ireland, someday maybe. And then I have them in the grass because the shamrocks do grow in the grass. And a couple of little sayings, happy and lucky. And there's that. So that's my little homemade gnome. Not really up to too many shenanigans, but you never know, they could. Okay, here's another one I made. So I don't know how well you can see that. So this is the flame or teardrop, which I mounted on a circle. And here's that confetti from the spring leaf. I just love that. I've used it for a lot of texture. I used it for my hedgehog, and I keep a lot of these because I see where they may have other uses. So on the tulip border, I put my little gnome. That's the water drop or teardrop or flame for his hat, and the little green beard because he's a garden gnome. And then that is on one of those pumpkins, again, the tall little pumpkin, and I did it on yellow this time. Did pop him up on foam squares just to make it a little more texture, because then you have all these, with all these, like a little shadow from the whiskers on the beard. You gotta honor St. Patty's Day, so I have another one from St. Patrick's Day. This again is that, I believe, 2020 or 2021 National Scrapbook Day that had Clover and shamrocks. So I just cut this paper like a 1/4 of an inch all around smaller, and then I did a deep green or forest green gnome border, cut it in half so that there would be a 7 on each side, and then in the center, then I added little gnome wisdom. Okay, we're flooded in green, and they have definitely a green thumb to work in the garden. And then this is more of that paper. This is the flip side of this. So this was just one piece of paper that I could make these 2 borders out of. Very green, very St. Patty's Day. So our gnomes are, oh, and you see I added some green, not in all the beards. I didn't do it in all of them. I think it's more interesting when you just do it in some and not in all. It makes it a little more interesting to look at. And last but not least, we got the Irish flag colors here. And this will definitely go in my album for St. Patty's Day. This day, again, here's that shamrock paper there. This was more of that National Scrapbook Day. I think maybe the same one. I don't recall that being with the shamrocks and clover, but it may have been. In any case, it's older paper. I just looked for colors that would go with what I want it to be. And you know, I try to put these in the same, like, you know, opposite corners, so that if I wanted to switch it and have the 2 sayings together, I could do that as well. But then see, I punched orange and white and green, and then this was a designer paper that had like an ombre of green, and then I punched the white, also white, orange, and green in the Irish flag colors, cut all the hats off, and then just alternated them. Again, I didn't make them matchy-matchy. It's not the same pattern. I just wanted to make sure all 3 colors were there. Now, I know I said I made borders, but I just want to show you a couple of pages that have gnome borders on them, but they're not just loose borders. All right, so this one is, again, National Scrapbook Day paper from last year with that beautiful little mushroom paper, and then the mushroom stickers down here, and I cut some of the grass border punch in that beautiful kind of wood grain paper. Added some butterflies. I did put hats and the faces on, or the beards and noses on some of them. Again, I didn't do them all. You may have seen this in my last year's spring video, but I think they're so adorable. I wanted to bring them back. So this is a border, but the border is built right on the page rather than having it loose like this. The border is right on the page. And then I just added some little ferns at the top because the gnomes are little. They could be under the fern. And my last one, again, this is National Scrapbook Day material from last year, but I just love it. These little gnomes. And again, I built the border, but right on the page. And that we have these, I love hedgehogs. We have pet hedgehogs. They're just the best. I had hedgehog in my science lab. They are the coolest little animals. So I wanted to bring them out again. So the mushrooms, these beards, did I put? Did I? Yes, I did. I put the beards back on from another color so that they would show up better on this, because with that orange check didn't really work. So sometimes, you know, look at your layout and see if it looks like, you know, you want to go that extra step and add that little detail. Makes all the difference. And then these are 4x6 mats that are ready to go. So, you know, you would just cut your photos slightly smaller than that and have a journal box too. And there are my Gnomic adventure pages and mostly borders. Well, thank you so much for joining me on my little Gnomic adventure. I hope this gave you some good ideas. You know, you can use whatever colors work with your layout, and those gnomes could be found anywhere. You know, you can take them to the beach. They could be at a birthday party, and you just use your imagination and have fun with it. It's really a great way to use your punches, not just in the one way maybe that was designed for a garden. They can go anywhere. They're gnomes. I mean, they have a mind of their own, so let's do that. Thanks again, and if you have any questions or comments, put those in the comments below. I will have links in the description. Please check out my website, lindascrapbookingstation.com, because I have a lot of pre-made things there. Granted, you might have some of these materials, but it's a great time saver. I already have pages and borders made for you. Plus, if you want to gift someone who's just getting started with scrapbooking, or maybe they're working on a project, you want to help them speed it up, maybe they're on a deadline, you might want to gift them some of my pre-made products. That'll help them move it along. So, until next time, let the shenanigans begin.